It's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win!
You stink. You're gonna lose.
Got him!
Excuse me, what the hell's going on out here? Nick's scared because his eyelids are jammed in his old man's hair. We need a live rooster to take the curse off Jose's glove, and nobody seems to know what to get Millie or Jimmy for their wedding present. Is that about right? That's right. We're dealing with a lot of shit.
You don't know how to play first base. It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Top of the sixth, and rookie sensation Ricky Vaughn on the pitch now.
Rosenberger, warm up. You're going in.
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut.
The word on the loose here is that the good-looking young pitcher has a major league fastball, but sometimes has problems with his control.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
The nice way to say it is he lacks confidence.
You play ball like a girl.
Hey, how did you do that?
Charlie, here comes the deuce. And when you speak of me, speak well.
Oh, it swings and crashes one towards South America.
You caught?
What's your biggest fear?
Are you crying?
This is actually one of my favorite videos
No crying?
on YouTube. Baseball on Film, just a big compilation of all these movies, great movies that have come out over the years.
No, seriously.
But we're gonna give a few more minutes for people to get into the stream.
Hey, good luck with that.
We'll be covering a good amount of stuff today, guys. We'll be doing a game discussion like always. Talk about some recruiting advice that can help you with exposure, everything like that. A little bit of a different setup today for the stream. Testing out some new streaming software, stuff like that. And yeah, we'll be going over a good amount of stuff, some MLB stuff, some college baseball stuff. Actually, a lot of interesting stuff going on right now.
Is losing fun?
No.
That's what losing sounds like.
And like always, guys, if you guys have questions throughout the stream, don't hesitate to ask.
16 years, I've lived with the idea that I can...
I was talking to a parent earlier today, and he was, as a kid in college and not getting a lot of innings, and they're thinking about going into portal and using our help to connect him with schools and get him somewhere. And he said, Kyle, how do you get those innings? I mean, if you're, you've struggled a little bit to start the year, or at least for the first half of the year in college baseball now, you struggled a little bit. I guess we can turn this video off and just get straight into everything.
Most of us bang around the game for.
But you've been struggling, and your innings aren't going great now. There's some other guys that they feel like they can depend on better than you. I told the dad, I said, listen, you got to go into the coach's office and say, listen, I know I haven't performed the way I need to get as many innings as I want. And this kid was in a unique situation, kind of coming off injury, an injury that takes a while to come back from. And Just it makes sense that he's been a little bit inconsistent. And I said, you got to talk to the coach and you got to just tell him, listen, I know I haven't performed the way I need to perform, but what do I need to do going forward in the middle of the week bullpen, stuff like that, to earn your trust again and start getting more innings? Because I want to be pitching more again. And I told him, I said, when you do that, first of all, the coach is going to respect that 100% because you're coming in and you're being honest with him. You haven't done what you need to do to secure consistent innings out of the bullpen or whatever it is. And now you're looking for, well, how do I fix that? How do I get back in your good graces and be a guy that can be utilized more out of the bullpen or whatever, wherever it is. And the dad really, he really appreciated that. And I think, it's kind of common sense, but I think a lot of times kids get scared to even talk to a coach. And, the one thing you can do, you may disagree with the coach, but at the end of the day, you got to know the criteria they're judging you on. And so if you go to the coach and say, what do I need to do to get back getting more consistent innings? And he said, listen, as long as you're in the strike zone, you're going to be getting innings. Okay. You know what you got to do? Start working on your command every day. Work on your command. If you're throwing 2 bullpens a week, make sure you're really focusing every pitch on where those pitches are going and everything. And I told the dad, I said, listen, because at that point, the coach tells you what you need to do. So if you do start, the command starts improving or whatever they're looking for, they're going to give you opportunities once you start to kind of show that you're making your way towards what they want. And so that's, a piece of advice for people out there. I know last time we talked about analytics and everything like that. There is some interesting stuff going on in the major leagues right now. We talked about the arm injuries. It's funny. I put a video out on Angel Hernandez and just how, he's a terrible umpire objectively. Maybe he's a good person. I'm just talking about him as an umpire. And the day I made that video, he's behind home plate again. And he's just, I think he called a pitch 6.5 inches off the plate. There was one hitter that literally took 3 straight pitches that were not even close to the strike zone, strike 3. And it was my belief that, he is protected by the umpires union, but still, if you're the umpires union, what you should be thinking about now is how do we make sure that umpires are still a thing 10 years from now? And, the TrackMan strike zone isn't just calling balls and strikes. And I said it on the previous show. I do not want to see umpires out of baseball. I think it's, it adds to kind of the allurement, kind of the artistry of the game. The fact that, there is that subjective strike zone that we all know what the objective strike zone is, but each umpire has got a little bit of a different zone. And how do the hitters adjust to that? How do the pitchers adjust to that? That does bring like beauty to the game. And I'm very scared that baseball is moving towards this just like complete robotic, we don't have the pitchers don't hit in the National League anymore. All these new changes are just kind of fundamentally changing the game. And, we see it in the minor leagues now where the pitcher or the catcher can challenge balls and strikes, but we have a pitch clock that is implemented to speed up the game. But now you can challenge balls and strikes, which I get. It's not going to take that long, but needless to say, they've put in the pitch clock, but then they've put in other rules that are making the games longer, and the reviews and the replays. So it's, at the end of the day, I think the pitch clock speeds up the game maybe by like an average 10 minutes. So 10 minutes for like a 3-hour game or an average 2-hour and 30 to 40 minute game. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. All right. So first thing we're going to get into, guys, just talk about college baseball kind of stuff that happened this weekend. As I pull up here, we're going to look at make sure I'm signed in here on D1 Baseball's website and just talk about some teams that have just had some really surprising, terrible starts. And really, we're halfway through the season now. And I think on everyone's mind, if you're keeping up with college baseball, is, and I'll go to it here, is we're looking at the top 25 rankings. LSU, I think 3-12 now in the SEC. And they were a projected top team in the country. And, people want to blame coaches. And again, it's like this, that coaching staff, they did lose their pitching coach to University of Georgia, but they replaced him with an equally talented stud pitching coach. So, people want to blame coaching staffs whenever stuff like this happens. A 3-12 LSU, which is just, you won the national championship last year. You did lose, a couple of elite players in Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz, but they still should have been everyone thought they're going to be a top team in the country, at least a top 15 team in the country. You never know at the beginning of the year, but they just haven't played well in the SEC. And again, we talked about it last week. I mean, if you look at these numbers, look at all these teams, and this is updated from April 14th, games through April 14th. So for yesterday, through the Sunday's games, D1 baseball. If you guys like college baseball and you like news, updated everything, D1 baseball is number one. They've been around forever covering college baseball. Kendall Rogers, Aaron Fitt, Mike Rooney. I mean, the list goes on, but they're studs. And so we look through here right now. Let's look at the top 4 teams in the country according to D1 baseball, which I do think is, all these polls have some subjectivity to it, but they're pretty accurate when it comes to the ranking of teams. First 4 teams in the country, SEC. So there's 4. There's Vanderbilt. Let's see if I'm missing any here. No. Okay. So Vanderbilt 5, Alabama 6, South Carolina 7, Georgia 8. So 1/3 of your top 25 teams are SEC teams. And then if we look at, teams that just dropped out, Florida, Mississippi State, which Florida, I don't really agree with. They've been in the top 25 forever, and look at their record on the year, 18-17. I mean, I get you're playing in the SEC, but at the end of the day, and they went 1-3 this week. So they started the week at 17-14, but still, you're winning barely over 50% of your games. You probably shouldn't be in the top 25, no matter how talented your team is. And that's the issue. And, we saw that in college football where, with the new playoff system, they're talking, well, this team is undefeated, but this other team is more talented. Well, at the end of the day, your ranking, it should be heavily focused on what your record is. And then you can 20% of it can be, okay, this team's really talented. But so Florida, I don't think should have been in the top 25 for a while now. But, there's 10 teams that are basically in the top 30 teams in the country. And if you did top 40, it would be, the majority of the teams in the SEC are in the top 40. And then we look at the ACC. So kind of same deal, right? Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Virginia, North Carolina, Wake Forest. There's 6 off the bat right there in the top 12. So basically, look at this in the top 10. In the top, let's just go top 12. You got 4 SEC teams, and you got 6 ACC teams. So these are the, you talk about Power 5. I mean, these are the Elite 2. The Elite 2 conferences in college baseball. It's just no one else is even close. And actually, some RPI just came out recently. I tweeted about it. The Sun Belt Conference, I believe, it goes SEC, ACC, in RPI, Big 12, which are your Oklahoma State, stuff like that, and then the Sun Belt. So the Sun Belt Conference, which is a mid-major conference, is the 4th highest RPI conference over the Big 10, over the Pac-12. So, baseball is just different than, you can't look at baseball and talent of schools or size of schools and just determine, okay, they're this good. You have to take all of it into account. And so we're going to get into this a little bit more. So we got 6 ACC teams in the top 12. And then we got 7. So let's see here. I don't want to miss any. So you got 8 SEC teams in the top 25. And you got 7 ACC teams. So way more than half, 60% of your teams in the top 25 are from the ACC and the SEC. ACC's loaded in the top 12. SEC's the top 4, and then it's spread out. But these two conferences are just gauntlets. And that's, getting to my point is that LSU, Florida, for example, 2 teams that are always really good. The problem is there's no off weekend in these conferences. And so, if you just have if you're just going through a tough stretch, it's not like you're losing or you're winning 1 out of 2. You're getting swept. Or, you face a team that's really hot that may not even be one of the best teams in the conference. They can sweep you. Tennessee, I believe, just swept LSU at home. So LSU, just looking at the season scenario for them, they're at 3-12. So they would literally have to go 12-3 to get to just 15-15 in the SEC. I mean, we're talking, and it really is this. It's this crazy. I mean, just completely crazy scenario. You think about like the College World Series champions are not having a good run of it recently. You talk about Mississippi State. They win the national championship. Don't make the NCAA tournament the next year. I believe they didn't even make the SEC tournament. Ole Miss wins the national championship. They don't make the tournament. Now LSU may not make the NCAA, probably will not make the NCAA tournament unless they just go on a run. And at this point, they literally can only, if they go 12-3, they can get back to 500 in the SEC. If they were just 15 straight wins in the SEC, they're probably in good shape then at that point. But again, baseball's crazy, but it's hard to expect them to get to even 500 in the SEC. Now, if you get to a 14-16 in the SEC, in the ACC this year, you're probably in because these conferences are just so much better than all the other conferences. But again, to get from 3-12 to 14-16, it's going to be tough. You got to go 11-4. And so LSU, that's the biggest surprise of the year is their inability to get to probably the SEC tournament. We did have some big weekend series. In particular, we'll go through some ACC stuff and we'll go through some of these scores from Sunday, if I can get this to work. Okay. So Florida, much needed to win against South Carolina, almost got swept. They're still in okay shape. Virginia, big win over Louisville. Virginia's Virginia. Brian O'Connor every year. They're just a kind of a machine. And East Carolina doing what they do. The thing about East Carolina, and I think, just talking about the reason they're so successful every year. Sorry, as I kind of bring up some other stuff we're going to talk about. But Cliff Godwin, and Cliff Godwin is the head coach at East Carolina. And he's been there forever. He's got I believe it's a lifetime contract. And every summer, rumors start going around that, this school just fired their head coach. They're going to be looking for Cliff Godwin's a front runner for the job, or he's one of the top guys, as he should be with what he's done at East Carolina. And the thing what people don't realize is that East Carolina, he has got the picture perfect scenario to host a regional / super regional every year. And the reason is because he's not playing in a Power 5 conference. So you look at the SEC and the ACC, the stuff we just went over. The ACC and the SEC are it's a gauntlet. It's a bloodbath every weekend. Guys, I mean, teams that are supposed to win are losing. NC State, for example, I mean, they're getting beat by by teams that are supposed to be worse than them. They're sweeping teams that are better than them, supposedly, right, according to the rankings. And it's just, it's really something that at East Carolina, you don't have to worry about because you're not playing in a Power 5 conference. And so Cliff Godwin, here's what you got to think. Cliff Godwin he knows this. He loves it there. They have an amazing fan base. Are you talking? I mean, they're crowded around the stadium every day, every game. I mean, the fans are amazing there. So it's easy to recruit because of how good they've been. They're going to win their conference almost every year, which is it's a guarantee that you're going to be in a tournament, but they're going to dominate their conference every year with what he's been able to put together there. So he doesn't have to worry about, we got a great team, but are we going to survive the conference just gauntlet in the ACC and the SEC? So I'm not saying he'll never leave. I do think it's got to be the right setup. They're probably going to have to pay him very well to leave, well over $1 million, which I think he's deserved. But it's got to be enough to draw him from that. I mean, the setup he has at East Carolina. I mean, he's turned it into a national powerhouse, and he doesn't have to play in a Power 5 conference. Now, East Carolina, they could eventually move to one, but as of right now, it's going to be really hard to get him away from there because of just how perfect the setup is. And then, okay, so looking through the rest of these, make sure everything's not falling apart on me. Wake Forest is getting back into form. Nick Kurtz, their first baseman, who's going to be a first-round pick. I think he's hit 13 home runs in the last 9 games. Their pitching's, they're starting to they went through a little cold stretch there to start the ACC schedule, but they look like they're getting back and going for the second half of the ACC or the conference schedule. Georgia Tech, my alma mater. So I call a lot of their games on the broadcast for ACC Network. And this was a very important weekend for Georgia Tech. And the reason for that is this. Georgia Tech had got swept 2 weekends in a row after sweeping NC State. So they were 3-6. They go to Pitt and they beat Pitt, who is right now the worst team right now is the worst team in the ACC. So they've took 2 of 3 from Pitt at Pitt. That's one they would have really wanted to sweep. And so in the ACC, they go from 3-6 to 5-7. And they're entering a stretch where they're facing, I think, 5 of the top RPI teams in the country. Those 6 ACC teams in the top 12 I showed you, they're facing them all right now. They're in that stretch. And so they face Virginia Tech this weekend. They lose 11-1 Friday night. And this is, again, you want to start this 5-series stretch gauntlet with a win and a series win. So they lose 11-1. Well, Saturday they win 19-0. And then yesterday, if you look right there, they win 11-7. So a big series win for Georgia Tech against Virginia Tech, who I say this on broadcast every year when the season starts. Virginia Tech every year is projected to finish last in the ACC. And they always end up hosting a regional. So, next year, and they got to finish out, right? We got halfway the ACC schedule left, but they've been great so far. But Virginia Tech always just seems to get forgotten, and they're always just an extremely competitive team. And so back to the rest of this, Duke gets beat by Pittsburgh. Again, Pittsburgh is that one series in the ACC right now. I mean, they're just not playing good baseball. They just don't have a great team. They're that one series in the ACC that you think we got to get a sweep here. We got to get a sweep here. So Pittsburgh is kind of playing that spoiler for, possible regional host in the ACC. it's that weekend where if you lose that series to Pitt, you're going to be really disappointed because it's just going to hurt your chances. North Carolina dominated Notre Dame. North Carolina, watching their series against Georgia Tech earlier in the season, they're going to be outstanding for the next few years. They got 2 freshmen on the weekend, Friday and Saturday. I mean, they are going to be legit. Clemson beats NC State. Alabama 5-0 over Arkansas, number 1. That's why you saw the A&M take over the number 1 spot, but Arkansas is still at number 2. They're both, still just unbelievably talented teams. Dallas Baptist getting beat by Air Force. Little tough. A&M beats Vanderbilt. I believe they swept Vanderbilt. I'll have to check on that. Ole Miss destroys Mississippi State. Oregon State over losing to Stanford. And then Oregon and Tennessee, like I said, sweeps LSU. And San Diego beats UC Irvine. So we'll look at and this is the news across college baseball, but we're going to look at some games now. And let me pull this out here. We're going to look at some games now. This first game, we're going to look at the Vanderbilt A&M game. And I want to make sure you guys know, I'm not watching these before the stream because I want to react to them like you guys are and just kind of react in a raw way to what's going on in the game and what a coach would see instantly, or what an evaluator, a scout would see instantly right away. And let's get into it. So let me pull this up real quick. Vanderbilt, A&M, 2 of the top 10 teams in the country. Vanderbilt at number 6 in this game. This is game 3, so we'll get into it.
Austin Davis Diaz has had 4 hits this week.
Man, I forgot to play my music the whole time. Sorry, guys. Let me know if you like the music, by the way. Guys, and like I said, before I start this video, ask questions, guys. Ask questions. It's not even about questions, just conversing as well. Like, if you see things you like, hey, I thought he did a good on that, or I thought he was hustling, or I thought he shouldn't have made that play. That was tougher than you're making it seem like. Let me know. I don't know everything.
It's there. High in the air left field, and Sorrell back, and he'll watch that fly. And Vanderbilt on the scoreboard
was just destroyed,
for the first
right?
time this weekend. They take a 2-0
See
lead
if we get a
on the home
replay.
run.
I love these jerseys by
Braden Holcomb. The left fielder goes over the wall. Time this weekend.
I want to see this again. Just 91 fastball right down the middle.
Field, and Sorrell back, and he'll watch that fly. And Vanderbilt on the scoreboard for the first time this weekend. They take a 2-0 lead on the home run.
And that's what, you guys, I've talked about this all the time. I've talked about this a bunch, but velocity is not a big deal in Power 5 and the Sun Belt, like I mentioned, because velocity only plays if you're pitching ahead in the count. If you're in a 2-0 count, every hitter at this level is just going to, again, not every swing, but you're going to get hit around if you're falling behind 2-0.
By Braden Holcomb. The
no
left
question.
Fielder goes over the wall in left field to put Vanderbilt up on this Sunday.
That feels really, really nice if you're Vanderbilt. A very nice way to get on the scoreboard. That's a big left-handed hitter in Holcomb. This is just a middle fastball that he is.
Middle fastball. I mean, it's actually like near the bottom of the zone, but not low enough.
That's 110 off the bat.
And
430 feet.
I guess this is a good point to talk about this, but the reason a low fastball is good, and then we can just think about this logically, it's because your bat, to be able to hit that in the air, it's got to get down all the way down there and underneath. And so an elevated fastball, bell-type fastball, if I'm right here, I mean, I'm underneath right now. But a ball at my knees, I mean, I got to get way down there to get underneath. And that's why, guys that can consistently throw it near that bottom of the zone, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, because just a lot of hitters' swings are not going to be able to consistently get down there in time.
Holcomb making his 11th start of the year. That's his 4th home run. Right back at Lampkin, caromed off his hip, it looked like.
To the bag.
Yeah, won't play. No play at first base.
This is one of those where you just tell your pitch, hey, come on. Just,
Folger a base hit. And now it's Calvin Hewitt from the right side. He shows bunt, and he popped that one up. That lands in fair territory, and they're going to get the lead runner at second base.
I mean, this is...
and try to get the double play. Did Jackson Appel, the catcher, let that drop? Smart popped that one up.
Yeah, you know, here's the deal.
Folger a base hit. And now it's Calvin Hewitt from the right side. He shows bunt.
This is a smart play. I mean, if what they're saying is true, and bring up the chat here. No, we'll keep that down for now. If the catcher knows there's one out and he sees the runner at first, and this is the thing. This is what the hitter doesn't do right.
That one up.
I don't know what the hitter's doing.
Lands in fair.
Like, you got to get up and run, man. Because this is a smart catcher.
A base hit.
This is a smart catcher.
Calvin Hewitt from the right side.
I'm not even sure.
He shows
why does he fall on the ground here?
Space.
I mean, the fastball is over the middle of the plate, like
hit.
Letter high.
Now it's Calvin Hewitt from the right side.
Like, I don't know why he falls down, but
he shows bunt. And he
falls on the ground and just decides not to run. And the catcher,
and they're going to get the lead
very smart.
Second base.
Unfortunately, it doesn't make an accurate throw to second, or it's just an easy double play, and they're out of the inning. But very smart because he knows the runner at home's not running.
Smart play.
Let it fall.
From a former Ivy Leaguer.
Get a double play.
And now throw down, trying to get a stolen base, and that's into center field. Going to third is Calvin Hewitt.
There's that run game you and I have been talking about all weekend, Will.
Here comes
Kate Cox,
here comes the jam
the
shot.
Wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again
Okay.
and had a fetus of the.
That'll get over the head of Gavin Grahovac, who had shifted over.
And this is, guys,
it
again.
Will score of Gavin.
You know, we talked about guys who swing and miss a lot and guys who just find a way to put the ball in play. This is the reason right here. It's so important. Yeah, it's a 1-2 count, I believe. I know you guys are getting blocked too by the title of this video, but I can't see the count. It looks like it's 1-2. Anyway, it's 2-strike count. Kind of a hanging slider, top of the zone, which really, I mean, you could have been hit a long way, but again, just finding a way to put the ball in play. 2 outs. This ball is hit 45 miles an hour off the bat. Just kidding. It's probably a little higher than that. But it's an RBI and a base hit. Now, would you rather have that or a strikeout?
Vastine drives him in 3-0.
You'd rather have that every time.
Just a bouncing 6-3 ground out to start the inning, but now they've hit the ball quite
this
well,
is,
and that's off the wall.
Wow.
Straight away center field.
Okay.
A 4th run coming well, and that's off.
I mean, this is
Vanderbilt.
And I can say this because I played center field my whole career. This is from start to finish. Absolute terrible technique in the outfield. Off the bat, you can see that. And you're a center fielder, that's off the barrel. He got that on the barrel. He might have got jammed slightly, but he got his A swing off. It's near the barrel. You got to get running. You see that go up in the air? That's not a jam shot swing. You're turning and running. You're turning. You're finding it, gaining some ground, and you're picking it up. But look, from the start, first of all, he goes the wrong side. You know, he turns the wrong way.
To 3 ground out to start.
Wind is blowing out, which he should know, right? He should know every inning, you got to check the flags. Every inning. Check the flags. Which way is the wind blowing? All right, ball's gonna carry a little bit more than it normally does. But
bouncing
I mean, look at this route. And he never runs the entire time, by the way. He's cross-stepping. Instead of running like this backwards, he's cross-stepping like this. So the fact that he's doing that, he's not gaining any ground at all. And then if you look where this ends up landing,
now they've hit the ball quite well.
It lands near the base of the wall. So if he just turns and runs and gets to the wall, he catches that stand.
Home in the inning and a triple.
The problem is a lot of people will watch that play and say, "Oh, that would have been a tough play." No, it wouldn't have. If he did everything right off the bat, he's turning and running, which I don't know if people teach this anymore because I don't see many guys doing it. But, at this level, you should be able to, off the bat, you see it, turn, sprint. We used to call it turn and run. Gain like 5 or 6 steps at 100% speed and then turn and find it. If he did that, he's just standing at the wall catching it like this. Just standing. But it ends up just completely butchering it.
Yeah, this is one Jace Laviolette's going to want to have back.
Yeah, I mean, you see that. It's off the barrel. I mean, a little bit down the barrel. Might have got a little sting in his thumb.
Blowing out, and you can kind of see him drifting to this ball.
Exactly what the broadcaster says, just drifting, never turns and runs. And ends up costing his team a run.
To get Matthew Polk, that ends the inning. Things start to go south on him after hoisting the trophy. Travis Chestnut is hit by a pitch.
He's going to get greeted by a ball 5 chant now.
He's going to have to deal.
I wonder why his number is 98.
And 2 runners on with nobody out.
He just hit 97. That is a tough. I mean,
and again, last night over
if your pitcher's number is based off of the velocity you throw,
crowd they've had since
that's tough.
This stadium was renovated in 2012.
Then again, it wouldn't matter for me because I'd be better.
Ripped to the right side, base knock. Jace Laviolette. Travis Chestnut will come home with the first.
But here's what we talk about all the time, guys. A couple free passes, and then a base hit, and now A&M's got some momentum. And 98, he throws 97, walks another guy.
That could be 2, and it will be 2. And it
does a good job, gets the double play, but A&M gets another run across.
Scores. Big play for the Commodore defense, but one more run.
How many we got, Will?
It's a couple of engines.
One of the coolest shots in college baseball. You got the train behind right field, and look at that brand new indoor complex for Texas A&M football. Beautiful building.
And spring football underway for the Aggies under the direction of first-year head coach Mike Elko.
New arm for.
Strikes out here is the first man to face Ethan McIlvain. Arkansas trailing Alabama again today, 1-0 in the 6th inning. Call strike 3, got him looking. Got him on a check swing.
That's a pretty good inning right there for the young guy.
Flat out deals. Faces 3 and
3
strikes out
strikeouts.
3. Cade the side. He's tagged this deep to left.
Hung that one though.
Went over the scoreboard last night. Went off the top of the scoreboard on Sunday. Gavin Grahovac.
The thing that's crazy about these facilities, a lot of them in the SEC, not all of them, but
for the year,
I mean, they got some amazing. Look at that. I mean, it's like a. It's a AAA stadium. It's like the nicest of nicest AAA stadium. Kind of that in between of a AAA and a major league stadium.
He's done such a good job.
The stands are packed.
Keeping the A&M hitters off balance. He has a hanging breakable.
But I mean, this is just textbook. He gets to. Please don't be some dumb
Middle.
Just a hanging slider, right? I mean, right down the middle.
That home run swing Gavin Grahovac
Beautiful
had last
swing.
night. He puts it off the letters at the top of the video board. That's 101 off the
Doesn't
bat,
try to hook it. Stays through it.
21 feet.
Backspin to the left center.
Hit the bag and hopped over a diving R.J. Austin. Laviolette's going to second base. Off the bag at first, and he gets 2 bags out of it. 2 home runs Friday, 19 for the year. Hard hit left field. Ball game is tied as Laviolette comes around to score.
Well, Will, it certainly looks like these A&M
And then Vanderbilt just kind of gives up that lead. Slowly but surely. I mean, A&M just kind of slowly poking their way back, and then this one's turning into a bigger inning.
Shy of the track, now moving right there in front of the track. Matthew Polk. Montgomery's going to tag, and he'll get third base with 2 outs now. Jumping way off the bag at third was Montgomery. Here's a breaking ball that stayed up. Check swing, but he didn't go around. Booted at second base by Jaden Davis. The Aggies take the lead.
And see, guys, these are the play in the outfield, the play at second base. I mean, this is what's going to drive a coach insane. Are plays that, again, because like I said, a lot of people are going to think that play in center field is like a tough play. First of all, every outfielder plays on the track now. I mean, everyone plays 30 feet off the wall. So that, I mean, it's for a good center fielder, that's a routine play in center field. This is a routine ground ball. Now let's, anyone in the chat watching this want to call me.
Hit hard and they're going to the lead.
I got to rewind a little bit more.
Stayed up. Check swing.
Anyone want to tell me what happened here?
Booted at second base by Jaden. Davis. Booted at second base.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. Just sitting back and letting the ball come to him.
The Aggies take the lead.
Sitting back and letting the ball come to him. You got to charge the ball. He plays it in between hop. He takes one step forward. It's just a short hop, easy pick off the ground. And when you're playing that deep in the outfield, you have to come get it because you can't back up. You stay back, or you don't even charge the ball. The guy can really run. He might beat it out. And now, what does this error lead to?
That's just a great piece.
And so you make one error, leads to 4 runs.
Center field hit hard, and they're going back.
Wind's blowing straight out. Too.
That got out. Ali Camarillo, 3-run shot, third.
But that kills you. And we talked about earlier in the SEC and the ACC. It is a gauntlet every weekend. And so when you make a little error like that with 2 outs, you think, okay, well, look at the next guy.
That's just a great piece of hitting by Ollie right there.
You end up giving up 4 runs.
It's in the middle quadrant of the strike zone. The ball's down in the zone. It's really not a poorly executed pitch. He just leaves it over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, it's just right down the middle. I mean, he's right. It's not like
101 off the bat.
It's not bell tie.
22 feet.
It's a good swing.
It's again, 6-run 5th inning. A lot of damage done with 2 outs. Will we talk about it all the time?
The thing is, when you make errors and you walk guys, hitters just get more comfortable because they're not worried about you stepping in there and dotting 0-2 to start the
loses that series. They're number 1. Clemson has struggled. They're number 2. For the Aggies, the new number 1 with a new poll.
And so this guy's done a great job coming in and just stopping Vanderbilt. You can see he's throwing 100.
Play, nice play.
And he's got some decent command of his off speed. 76 pitches out of the bullpen. He'll take that.
Gavin Grohovac
I'm sure he's built up. Built up, I would hope.
The freshman keeps swinging it. No, he won't slow
down.
And then we got, first. He goes to second. Freshman keep.
And guys, like I don't want to sound like an old man yelling at the clouds, but I'm seeing this more often and more often where you're just seeing kind of like bad fundamentals, bad technique across like the highest levels of college baseball right now. And you're talking about Vanderbilt, who's literally, I mean, they're like a machine. It's like a military machine, how great they're coached. But again, if you're dealing with raw materials that get to college, and then you got to coach them from when they get there. And I just think you're seeing this trend starting to emerge where this showcase era of travel baseball, guys just don't have great fundamentals, and the baseball IQ isn't there. I talked about that in the last stream where professional organizations now are making the assumption that every player they draft and every player they sign out of the U.S. has 0 baseball IQ. Covered that on the last stream. That was said by a former player who's an analyst for the MLB, and he was talking about talking with scouting directors and player personnel people that told him that. Used to be you had a pretty good guys had a pretty good idea of what they were doing when they got here. Not anymore. I mean, this was just textbook,
The freshman keeps swinging it. No, he won't slow down around first.
I mean, this
second.
is the thing.
Slow down even around first. He goes to slow down.
It's just rolling.
The freshman keeps swinging it. No, he won't slow down around first. He goes to second.
It's just rolling.
Good program.
Well, both seasons, Montgomery will
this
with
may be a college baseball
He went to Omaha.
home run. No, okay.
He's trying to help the Aggies get there this season. Deep fly ball to right off the bat
But
of Montgomery.
he moved the runner.
That's caught
It's not
by Matthew Polk.
It's not a useless at bat. Again, you're not trying to move the runner with one out. But he drives it well enough. He gets the guy to third base.
Hence the extra base hits, right? Doubles and home runs. That's just a product of him putting the ball in play.
Well, Grahovac's going to come home, play at the plate, not in time.
That's baseball IQ right there.
That's what.
Not in time.
That's a guy who's paying attention. He's locked in. Because technically, the guy should never score on this play.
Of him.
And what is the pitcher doing? Let's watch.
The ball in play.
Pitcher, point that out, man. Point and scream. Pitcher's just kind of looking and hoping he finds it. But you got to put this on the base runner. I mean, he just gets a fantastic read, almost immediately recognizes the catcher has no idea where it is because this is just barely outside of the hitter's circle. And he slides in pretty, he's safe by a good margin.
I tell you what, this young man, that's what you love to see out of your young superstars.
So you go.
I mean, that's just, again, that is baseball IQ right there in front of you. That is just, didn't need to be told by the coach, didn't need to get a sign. You know, what you see all the time now, guys don't know how to go first to third. They just look at their coach and hope if he sends them, they go. If they don't see a stem, they don't go. That's kind of the state of amateur baseball right now. But that was just a fantastic read.
Over 22,000 total for the weekend. And like we said, a lot of times in college baseball, that Sunday crowd backs off a bit. Certainly not today. High and deep to left field. Caden Sorrell, he saved one this year. He tries to save another. Not this time.
I thought he got it. I mean,
home run. Off the bat.
We'll see if a replay. If they show us a replay, we'll go back. But there's a chance he might have got this if he kind of played it right. Any outfielders?
I'm a guy who lost a bet.
Your son's an outfielder.
As if watching my team
as we have to watch this ridiculous ad, we'll just stop the screen share. Another ridiculous ad. Okay, we're back. Okay.
Ball middle third.
Here we go.
One of the rare mistakes
we fastball belt high middle.
That's a fastball middle third.
And then we'll see if he drifts. Okay, guys, this is what I'm talking about right here. Let's start back here. All right. This is right after it's hit. Look where he's playing in left field. What is he, 8 feet from the track? This should be Rob City. This should be Rob City. I mean, you're literally playing on the track. You take 4 steps behind you and you're on the wall. So again, this is kind of a slow drift. Yep, slow drift, slow drift, slow drift.
Just scraped over that wall.
So if he just gets, it's not like you don't need to sprint to the wall. But this cross step thing that they're all doing, if he gets that wall and just jumps and climbs, he catches that easily.
On left center.
Look, he just barely misses it. He just barely misses it. He actually could have caught it just from there, but he just timed his jump wrong. He's late.
And just missed the outside corner. In the dirt. And
are we getting a
Davis will go to second.
A one-knee or pass ball here? Oh, okay. Oh, I messed up again. Okay. Again, runners on. I'm not a big fan of one knee, and I'm not saying it's bad. I do think it's better. It gives you it's way easier to present a target, not only to the pitcher but to the umpire when you've received the pitch. But I'm just seeing this. I'm seeing this every day, every game.
Davis will go to second base.
You cannot tell me you're more mobile in that stance. You may be mobile to one side, but there's one side where if it's farther inside or outside, you're not going to get to it. Anyway.
High hopper in front of the runner, but getting over to third base quickly, Jaden Davis, they don't get him.
Okay. Let's see what happens here. We got a lot to cover in this game.
Quickly, Jaden Davis, but getting high hopper and...
Okay, so we got a chopper, high hopper, like he says.
High hopper and front.
It's really just it's a bad throw, but the guy on second, he either got a really good jump or he can run. It still would have been close. I think he probably gets him if it's an accurate throw, but the third baseman's kind of lazy getting back as well. We can watch it again. Third baseman's not even at the bat. What's he doing?
Of the runner.
Third baseman's so he gets the ball right here. So I think what happens here is the third baseman doesn't get to third. So what you're seeing is the shortstop kind of notices that, and halfway through his throwing motion, he's like,
high hopper and
he didn't know what to do.
Of the runner.
Because that's the right move. It's a bad base run. It's a base running mistake. It ends up working out, but that guy should be thrown out every time.
Aschenbeck comes back with a big pitch and a big strikeout. Start to face the Vanderbilt lineup for the second time. Down the line and right, Braden Montgomery is there, makes the basket catch on the run. He's got an arm, and he's going to keep Davis at third base.
I was very, very interested, Will, to see if that runner was going to tag from third base.
Showed off the cannon.
Shallow right. Montgomery waiting on it. Vanderbilt, they'll get a run, but they had him on the corners with nobody out after getting the run, and they can't put any more up. Caden Sorrell leads off. Base hit, center field right away.
Hey, Vandy just really couldn't get anything going after the first couple innings. Now in the eighth inning, and they've just been really limited offensively.
Chestnut lays down the bunt. There's no way to get
Love it. Love it.
That is so good.
Nobody wants to do it anymore, but every time I see it, it works pretty well. So we'll go through it. Left-handed pitcher. We've talked about this before. They only 90% of the time momentum is taking them towards third base. So you see here, and he's kind of a straight at home plate guy, but still the fact that his legs swinging around, it's going to take him a second to break after the ball. Perfect bunt. Makes every guy bites after it. First baseman charges it. Second baseman comes after it.
So good.
Pitcher's never beating you to first base.
Much more than a freshman, Gavin Grohovac. A&M will try to tack on a 10th run here. Throw is cut off. Sliding in safely.
And A&M just continuing
Caden
to
Sorrell and the Aggies have some insurance.
lay it on.
Runners are going. We try to get Grohovac at second. Everybody's safe.
And the reason you're seeing this, I think a lot of people, if you're not watching college baseball a lot, you may think, well, it's the eighth inning. They're up by 5. Why are they running? Ball's flying in college baseball. 5 runs is nothing. Nothing. You want to have a safe lead, it's like 7. If you followed the Clemson-Florida State series earlier in the year, Clemson came back multiple times from down like 8 runs in the 8th or 9th inning.
World Series team.
5 runs, nothing.
On Friday night.
2 more and they'll shut it down.
On to the track goes Rogers to make the catch, but it's a sacrifice fly and an RBI.
Should move both runners on that.
For Jay Slavulette as Chestnut comes home.
Yep, moves both of them.
Tried to get it back through that drawn-in infield, but it'll work out. Charging home was Grohovac. There was no chance to get him even with the infield in. Second largest weekend crowd in College Station in their
this weekend, okay. 22,000 this weekend, but they're averaging a little under 8,000 a game. That's pretty good.
Terrific atmospheres.
Pretty good for a college baseball.
Pitch. here in the ninth.
And that's something you're seeing to start happen in a lot of these bigger schools. Is baseball's becoming a profitable sport.
Couldn't get anybody home.
When at most schools it's football and like basketball. And the rest of them are net losses
and really changed the
on
outlook
the school's
ninth.
dime. But baseball is starting to. There's still not many schools that are, but it's growing year by year.
Deep to left, way back. Fair ball.
Vanderbilt was kind of a.
That was the only question, foul or fair, and it's a fair ball off the bat of
late inning, down
Matthew
by a lot,
Polk,
home
and
run.
It's 12-6.
But we get the picture. I don't know what we're going to be waiting for. A rally start with.
In play for Burton.
Okay.
The Aggies get a sweep on Sunday. And
all right, so we're going to go to another game here from the ACC. We're talking Clemson and NC State. And Clemson and NC State. So for those of you who don't know, Clemson number 2 in the country. I mean, they've just been unbelievable. And really the series defining the year, the series that has defined their season was against Florida State, who was also, I think they were number 2 or 3 in the country at the time. Clemson was like top 10. And Florida State was leading every game. The first game, it was a little bit earlier in the game, but it was maybe in the 6th inning. Clemson came back and won. Saturday and Sunday, Florida State had massive leads late in the game, and Clemson came back and won both games for a sweep. And now Florida State, really, that's their one bad weekend of the year. So Clemson has really just been unbelievable so far this season. And can't say enough about just how great of a job Eric Bakich and his staff have done at Clemson so far. So we'll get a look here at this game again. I haven't watched this game.
We're saying a lot more about him. The 1-2 pitch, strike 3 called on the outside corner.
I'd say the difference is in the pitching.
One thing you recognize right away is, and this just speaks to kind of Clemson staff in general. Is that, they brought most of the guys over there with them from Michigan. But I think really the coach that really I think was the best decision Eric Bakich could have made was Jimmy Bellinger. Who came from Florida State when Mike Martin Jr. was let go. And, I mean, really just does a great job of instilling toughness and kind of a hard-nosed mentality into his pitchers, not afraid to call them out and kind of let them know what the standard is if you're not living up to it. And he just seems to, year by year, have really good pitching staffs. And then you couple that with what they've done offensively. It's just been big years for them.
His 3rd home run of the year, and the Wolfpack are on the board. Look at the distance on that.
Volume was a little bit
low.
Over
400
so
feet.
This is
got that ball up in the air, and it did carry
a road, I believe,
that
at Clemson.
Standings, he and Blake Wright both. There's a weak.
And to look at NC State, so they've had a roller coaster year. We opened the ACC with as number 13 in the country against Georgia Tech. They get swept, but now that and really NC State historically, Elliott Avant's teams, they tend to be kind of late season closers. Like they just find a way the last month of the season, month and a half, to just close hard and just win every series in the weekend. And you're seeing that now. They're really starting to kind of get going.
NC State strikes
at 8-7 in the ACC halfway through. I mean, that's actually a really good
ground ball toward
first
the
half for them typically.
Through. Well, there's a lot of hits up the middle.
Canarella, modest lead at first base, has not stolen a base this year. This ball's whacked to left field. Left fielder turns around and watches it sail out of here. That wind is going to play tricks tonight. That may have been the first one we've seen out to left that just snuck over the wall and gave Clemson the lead.
Well, it's really light air. I mean, if there's no humidity in the air at all, and that wind is blowing.
And hey, remember, really we got to do. I forgot. We got to do the home run counters. So what? We got 2 home runs so far.
A little bit.
In the first inning, we got 2 home runs so far.
About his ability. There you see the swing.
I mean, this was just crushed.
Got really good contact.
Hit it out front.
That got out of
in
here.
The air.
That looked like one of your 2 irons.
I mean, this is going to be a really good game. I will be right back 1 second. Oh. All right, we're back. Sorry, guys. I worked out before this. Got some work done this morning. Worked out. I'm really hydrated. Had to go to the bathroom. Okay.
He's
laughing at me right when I come back to the video.
Check swing, and he did go around. Jacob Cozart throws to first to complete the out.
Ball off as long as they're consistent. Harry came in.
Tear into it. A new adventure. A new.
And we'll wait for these ads to I'll tell you what, man. I need to get the I don't know if there's some kind of YouTube subscription that makes it to where you don't see ads, but that would be nice. All right, we're back.
Oh, gonna come in and make the catch.
The release.
3-2.
Another one.
Strike 3 called. Purify playing shallow right field. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Folks nationally probably not talking a lot about Hinderleiter because of some bigger names. This ball's ripped to left, similar to Taylor's.
Not a home
ball.
run.
This one's
Not a home run.
At the base of the wall.
But
and it'll be a long.
I know I covered this a little bit on the last stream, but this was something me and James Ramsey at Georgia Tech were talking about. I was doing the Georgia Southern game on Wednesday, and we were talking in the coach's clubhouse. But basically, we're just talking about how in today's era of college baseball, you're seeing a lot more off speed being thrown. And that's something for hitters. You know, if you're a high school hitter at home, or you have you're a parent of a high school hitter who's maybe going to school somewhere, committed to play, start hitting off, a breaking ball machine, a machine that can throw breaking balls, sliders, because what you're seeing now in college baseball across the board, as I get this video pulled up, you're seeing like 50% off speed from a lot of pitchers, which is definitely way higher than it used to be. I would say typically what you would see is maybe 25 to 30% off speed. And sometimes, depending on the guy, maybe higher, right? Everyone's different, but just across the board, generally speaking, way more off speed being thrown in college baseball. So you're seeing walks go up because the zone is smaller. And so the reason for that is because the balls are just flying. So it's much harder to, you make mistakes now in the college game with the way these bats. I don't know if the bat technology has gotten way better or the balls are even more juiced, but when you're breaking home run records from before they changed to BB Core, this isn't the old BB Core bat anymore. So things have changed.
A good play over there in left field by Nixon.
I don't care. That just
Nolan Naraki, a line drive to left center field. Consecutive hits for Clemson in the second, just like the first.
Outstanding. I mean, if you've seen you can look it up on YouTube. They're kind of take a tour
Ground
through
ball
the
to
facilities
third.
from a few years
Chance
ago
for
when they did a lot of the
play.
upgrades.
Wide the throw.
Crazy.
Let's see how far it goes. And the runner at third is going to go home. The throw in there is in time.
Yeah, I mean, this is aggressive. I mean, a lot
Let's
to
see
talk
how
about
far
in this
it goes
play here.
first.
Okay, so let's see if I can take me out of here so we can actually see it better. So chopper ground ball does the right thing, right? That's exactly what you're taught to do. If the ground ball takes you to third base, towards third base, step on the base, throw it to first.
Third, chance for a double play.
Just a really wide throw. Probably, maybe slipped out of his hand. Not a great throw.
Let's see how far it goes.
And so here's the issue.
And the
Okay,
runner at
so
third
we
is going to go
discovered
home.
the issue, guys.
There.
So all right, I'm gonna take myself out again. Look, you see where my mouse is on the screen? I don't know if you can. But look on the left side of the screen. You're going to see the runner.
See how far.
He ain't running hard. He ain't running hard. He thinks he's going to be held up. And again, this is something you see in college baseball a lot. No instincts. No baseball IQ. He should know that foul territory over there at Clemson on the first base side, huge. Huge. Can take some funky bounces. Can bounce all over the place. Funky bounces. And so he's assuming that his third base coach is going to hold him up. And you'll watch. Watch here as he all of a sudden he's got to accelerate. Oh, slows down to touch third as well. I'm not sure what happened there.
And
what does this cost Clemson? Now this could get reviewed and overturned, but it shouldn't be this close at home plate. Should be safe easily.
There is in time. I don't know what happened with Naraki there. It looked like he stumbled or stuttered around second, between second and third.
And that might be part of it. Maybe stumbled around second, but again, you still got to run hard.
Edge to the pitcher. Oh, good.
You can't just assume you're going to be held up.
Sinker there. I mean,
that is
away
the.
From me. That was a good pitch. Yep.
That's the one area where you are depending on the coach, because you can't just turn all the way around and
high pop. Who's got it? Is it Butterworth? Oh, he's called off. Nixon, a nice play.
Good communication there. Probably made it a little bit tougher than it had to be, but still. Great job by the shortstop getting out that deep. That's a guy who's playing hard.
Is there a little something that's just heightened tonight that's allowing him to miss some barrels as he gives up one in the left center field gap right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the coach is going to say, hey, I'm done with the interview. For some reason during these interviews, something bad always happens.
We probably shouldn't have said the missed barrel.
Yeah, he's going to say right there, he said, hey, you jinxed him.
That was this inning.
Change up.
Nope.
Tough play. Won't get
Good
there.
job by the first baseman just to block that
Boy,
out.
that was impossible
he knows
because
it's
of
safe.
where
He's not trying to make a
right was
ridiculous
playing.
stretch
There was no
play
way
and
anybody
miss
was
it
going to make the
let it
play.
get by him.
Feel confident your taxes are done right with TurboTax Live experts.
Being a left-handed hitting catcher is good too.
Gerald can't find the ball.
Let's see if we might have another one knee up.
Make the play.
And this isn't due to one knee. I mean, this is just
catcher is good too.
unlucky hop off his chest, and he doesn't really do where it bounces. But even then, no one's going to be able to make a play.
He's had 5 a couple of times this year. Ground ball. They'll give up the run.
Make sure you hydrate, guys.
To get the out, and we're tied at 2.
So because of that wild pitch, the guys advanced, and now he does his job, gets the run and ties the game. Great at bat.
There's ball 4 high. You can really root for guys like that.
Yep.
Oh, this ball's hit well right center field. Both outfielders on their horse, not going to get it off the base of the wall.
That right center at Clemson is actually pretty.
Relay
see what happens here.
Not in time. You can really root
and
for
this guy
guys
scores from first. Yep. Great base running. He's off. Look at that lead. He's got a big lead. He's off as soon as it's hit.
On their horse,
hard hop off the wall.
One run
and just not a good throw by the center fielder.
Relay throw.
I don't know if they get a chance to get him, but it looks like he overthrows the cutoff.
That? A first pitch rip double by Eli Serrano.
And that's what you want to do with guys on base, 2 outs. You get a good pitch to hit first pitch, you better be pulling the trigger. I don't want to see anyone taking a fastball down the middle it may be the best pitch you get. Because if you take a fastball down the middle there, you're getting off speed until, 2 balls.
And NC State leads 4-2. And look, the changeup again.
For a changeup, I don't know about that.
About belt high. I thought that might get out.
I did too.
He just didn't get under it enough. I mean, he crushed. The wind is blowing in from right.
Power alley.
You can see with the
I
flag.
think the wind maybe kept that one in the ballpark.
The great base running by number 3
pitch
there.
to
Just off
Lanfear with
as soon
2
as it was
outs. Ripped up the middle, a base hit.
Let's see what the base runner
Serrano's
does.
going to come around to score,
Okay.
and it's 5-2.
Not even going to make
a
it throw home.
4-run 4th inning for NC State.
2 outs. Ball wasn't hit too hard up the middle, so
off
probably
the
has no
outside
chance to throw him
corner.
out.
Ground ball. Purify watches it all the
But
way and
NC
throws to
State,
first in
big
time.
lead in the 4th. Big swing.
Payoff pitch.
4 runs scored there.
Ball 4 low.
And so this is what you hate to see
I
as a
feel-
coach. 4-run inning, you get a big lead, you walk the leadoff hitter of the inning. Cannot do that. You got to go right at him.
A long look at first. That's hammered. That's way out
All right,
of
so we
here.
got 3 home runs in the 4th inning.
That's a souvenir at softball.
3 home runs by the 4th inning.
Big swing from Jimmy Obertop. Wait till you see the distance on this mammoth shot.
And just a meatball.
I think it cleared the terrace.
111 off the bat, 465, launch angle 31.
465.
About as optimal metrics as you could want for a home run.
Dabo might find that one in his office.
That ball, it was an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, change-up, hanging
And boy,
change-up.
he just absolutely got it on the perfect
The old
part of the
nothing
bat,
ball,
and
didn't do
that
anything,
cleared
stayed up.
the left field terrace out there by a mile.
Canita with one hand. This ball's hit in the air. Down the right field line. Long run for a Hogue, and he
Good
will
play.
catch it.
Nice play.
Found
And
the
just
wall,
goes
knew
right
where he
back to
was.
work. He went 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. The Rockies off. Throw down. He's safe. We talked about the bullpen being empty, but it has populated in a heartbeat. That's a 4-pitch walk.
And you see this 4th inning for NC State is just turning into a nightmare. And what do you see consistently? So right here, you see the
That's
pitcher
ball
kind of
4
go, where
down
is that
away.
at?
Purify maybe thought that hit the. Talked about the bullpen being empty, but it has populated in a heartbeat.
You walked the
That's
guy in 4 straight.
a 4-pitch walk.
Now you've thrown 3 straight balls. So you've thrown 7 straight. And this is over the white line of the batter's box. You can't beg for strike calls
That's
when you're
ball 4
walking
down
guys on
away.
4 straight
Purify
pitches.
maybe thought that hit the
Can't
zone.
beg for, and you're just going to make it
Get
worse.
the big strikeout.
Swing and a miss. I tell you what, that fastball absolutely messed with Canarella bad.
Yep.
Payoff pitch. Line drive.
And
base
this is,
hit.
I mean, this has been Clemson all year. You get out to lead on them, they are just pushing.
They're gonna
They're
wave
coming right
and
back
they'll
into the
stop
game.
Purify, throw back into third, he's out. Purify rounded third way too far. And the inning is over for a second time. The Tigers are out on the bases. The
Yeah,
Tigers
this is tough here. We'll have to look at the whole play again.
pitch.
Ball
Line
crushed.
drive, base hit.
Then it splits the gap, though.
Bad.
Yep.
Were runners moving on? No,
Payoff
I mean, the
pitch.
base is loaded.
Line drive, base hit.
Not sure what the base runner's doing here. The chances of you scoring from first on this play,
Naraki.
and he's
Gerald.
never getting the go sign. Third base coach is not telling him to go. And then,
They're
you know,
gonna wave
overextends
and
on
they'll
his
stop
past the base and
Purify,
gets thrown
throw
out.
back
It's
into
just
third, he's out.
bad base running there from Clemson.
Purify rounded third way too far.
You know, the idea that you're going to score,
And the inning is over for
you
a
got to
second
depend on your
time.
third
The
base
Tigers
coach there,
are
and he
out
just
on
didn't
the
pick him up at
bases.
all.
The Tigers able to
Close
take
play
the
at third,
lead.
though. I mean, did a
There's a
great
look
job
at
kind of
Reed
avoiding the
against the
tag,
leadoff
but
hitter,
it's
Luke
just ball beats it
Nixon.
so bad, they're never going to call you safe anyway, unless they get
2-3
overturned in a
put out the
replay.
strikeout. Catalyst of that 4-run inning in the top of the frame. Injury missed most
But they
of
took the
year.
lead, but then all of a sudden trouble happening
on the arm,
again.
Josh Hogue, as Reed tried to come in with a fastball.
His glove to the ground.
Check swing. He did not.
Ooh.
Go around, says the third base umpire, Jose Esteras.
And what's the common denominator in these innings?
1-1 to Butterworth. Ground ball.
Common denominator is a lot of free passes.
He gets away.
Oh man, this is.
He threw it away. 1 run scores. Across. 1-1 to Butterworth. Ground ball. Blake Wright.
Ground ball.
Across. He gets away.
Yikes.
He threw it away. 1 run scores. 2 run score.
And then now you give up the lead on a routine ground ball.
From the most unlikely.
But guys, I mean, again, this is what free passes do. All of a sudden, you give extra outs, you give extra base runners, and then one mistake, it costs you a few runs.
The big error.
Ground ball. That's going to
Cost
sneak
you
through.
4 runs.
2 out hits.
And you're going to score 2. Cozart and
We saw that in the
Butterworth.
previous game with
And it's
Vanderbilt. Some misplays cost teams a lot of runs, and
9-6
same here.
NC State lead. 4 more have crossed here in the 5th.
Great pitch.
Ew, get a room.
Recalled.
That is when you play poorly.
This ball's hit high and deep to left
Another
center
home run.
field. Well, if you're going to make an error, you might as well get one back, Blake Wright.
Wow.
That's way up in the Chapman grandstands. Blake Wright's 14th home run of the year. And here
So he
come
makes
the
up for it a little
Tigers
bit, adds a
again.
litll solo shot here, but again, the air cost you 4
guarantee he's
runs. It
still not
wasn't
happy.
only on him. There
That'll
were
put
some
some
walks
salve on the
hit by
wound, though.
pitch.
Yes, it will. 418 feet, exit velocity of 104. It's a
But the air
fastball
cost
that
his
was
team 4 runs. He
been
gets
a
1
little
run
bit.
back with the home run
Boy, he
here.
got his hands inside the ball and drove that. That's when he's swinging.
That's why
best, to
defense
come
and
up
pitching
there
is so important in
and
college
have the presence
baseball
of
because
mind to,
offensive numbers are going to be high
just
pretty much
crush
for
a
every
ball like
team
that. Get your team
right
going
now.
again. Well done.
with how the ball is
Leadership.
flying. So if you play sound defense
3-1
and just don't
pitch.
walk guys,
Runner moving, it's ball 4.
you're going to minimize a lot of the run scoring opportunities. Easier
Swing
said
and
than done,
miss.
but again,
Good
that's why you're
breaking
seeing
ball there and a
a
big
lot of
first
college
out
programs
for
moving
Shane
towards
Van
recruiting
Dam.
pitchers that can really
I
throw
would've done the
strikes, and they're going
same.
to work on developing their velocity and everything
We talked
like
about
that.
how good it was early. A throw over, and it gets away into center field.
Boy.
Both runners will advance. Grounds it. Right side. Second baseman fields and throws, and just did get him out. Wild game in
And
progress
you
here.
know,
This
the
thing has
bad
been
pickoff
crazy
play cost
from the
NC State a
get-go.
run.
Swing and a miss. He got him that time, fair and square. And first pitch swinging. That's a lazy fly ball to right. That's shallow, though. And it's off the second baseman's glove. Oh, my. That looked like the easiest fly ball in the world. And when it came down, it was
All right, we'll have to look
first
at
pitch
this again.
swinging. That's a late.
So look, all right off the bat, what's the second baseman doing?
And first pitch
Watch.
swinging.
All
That's
right, he's looking at the right fielder. He doesn't want the ball. He's not going after this like he wants
lazy
it.
fly ball to right. That's shallow,
Drifts after
though.
it.
And it's off
Right
the second
fielder, call him
baseman's
off. You got to call him
glove.
off there. Way easier play for the right fielder.
Oh my, that looked like
Call
the
him off, be
easiest fly
loud,
ball in the world,
come and get it.
and when it came down,
Second
it
baseman
was
still can
anything
catch the
but.
ball. It's his air, but right fielder, that's
0-2
right fielder's
pitch.
ball.
Oh, strike 3 called, and Cam
That's a tough
obviously
strike
didn't
3.
like that. It was right on the black. 4 in the game. 2-run homer in the first, and he got hit on the hip there. Swing and a miss.
Gets him on the high cheese.
Had his druthers here.
Comes and still has a chance to
Runners
come back.
moving, and Mathis swings through one. A big time.
A lot
bit
of big
pitching
swings there with
from
2 strikes.
Shane Van
Really big
Dam.
swings with 2 strikes.
Somehow we've got a camera op down there that's playing rock paper scissors with kids on the rail. How do we know who's winning? This feels like T-ball where I don't know the score. Everybody's winning. Come on, guys.
Thanks for that highlight.
With his team up 9-8, he rips one. That's going to get down in the gap. One hop the wall. Canarella bare hands gets it in. There's nobody there at second base.
Well,
the only batter he hasn't faced yet. Ground ball to first. That's as good as a bunt.
Yep.
He does
Good at bat there. Moves the runner with no outs. Exactly what you're trying to do.
Makarevich goes
Does
to
his job for his
third with
team.
1 out. Oh, they're going to walk Serrano.
Yeah.
Another fastball
They're going to
count.
try to make a double play in order.
Ground ball.
Slow developing.
Purify. Fields it clean.
Oh, I guess it was 2 outs.
Titsworth, an
He skipped
0-2
ahead.
pitch due Chase Nixon, the left fielder. Bouncer
Oh
off the glove
my.
of Obertop. Well, that one ate him up. What does Schaffner
Yeah,
do
this
here?
is one of those balls that
Off
first
the glove
baseman
pitch
want to
to
go
Chase
after,
Nixon,
but
the left fielder.
you got to know where your
Bouncer
second baseman's playing. Second baseman's playing over in the hole with the left-handed hitter up. You just got to let that go through and cover.
off the glove of Obertop.
And so now NC
Well, that
State
one
gets
ate him
leadoff
up.
runner on.
What does Schaffner
with
do
an error.
here? He's not moving. That's ball 4 outside. Here's Makarevich. Flare, shallow
This is going to be
left.
trouble.
That's getting down. Throw to the plate. Not in time. And at second base, Makarevich. And they're going to intentionally walk Jacob Cozart.
So
2-2
Clemson playing
again.
for double
Swing and
plays.
miss.
Out at every bag.
Payoff pitch. Ball 4.
Yep.
Swing and a miss.
So Clemson's got one more
10-8 the score in the top of the 9th.
attempt
Ripped.
at getting back
That
in
ball
this game.
sounded beautiful off the bat of Eli Serrano III. Canarella couldn't scoop it. The throw into second
base running
is
there.
not in time. And that's another extra base on a miscue.
That's
That
right.
was on a blue pit.
It was.
But see, this is the thing, guys. If he's
There's
not
a
running
line
hard
drive
out,
center.
out of the box on that, he's not getting to second, but he's running hard until he sees a throw in. You don't just run hard until you think he's going to catch it. You're running hard and rounding, anticipating a bobble, anticipating a tough hop that gets away from him. And if you're running hard the whole time, you're going to get into second easily.
Center field. Canarella's not going to get there. Base
See if
on
this
a
one has a
miscue.
chance of-
That was on a blue pit.
It was. There's a line drive center field.
Yeah, I think center
Canarella's
fielder
not
just kind of
gonna
pulls
get
up
there.
on that. He probably could have
That's
had a
an
shot at
RBI single for Garris.
with
or
two
off
outs
of
there. You
Garris,
kind of want
rather,
to go for that.
Nixon.
You kind of
And
that's a
it's now
ball you want to lay out
11-8.
for with
He
two
might
outs
have
and your
had
team's down by
an
2 in the
opportunity.
ninth.
Garrett Pennington, slow roller to short.
Now you got a
Play will be
3-run
first
deficit
by
to try to
Hinterleiter.
make
Well, you
up.
put about 25, 30 pounds on him, especially his lower half. Whew.
Worst case scenario, same pitcher still in, walks leadoff hitter. NC State makes a pitching
Do
pitch.
the square around and pull back. Yep. Ball 4.
Guy bringing the lefty to face the lefty,
1-1.
walks him.
High and deep. Left field, left center field. The catch is made by the center fielder, Serrano III.
Out there. They
Great
were
job by
really-
the center fielder here. Doesn't try to throw the guy out at third. You got no chance. Keep the double play in order. You got one out, throw it to second. Make sure you don't make some crazy throw to third, and then the guy from first can tag up.
playing deep.
3-pitch strikeout from Smith. Ground ball toward the middle to the bag. And NC State wins it.
Okay. So those are our game discussions for the day. Wanted to talk a little bit before we end the stream just about some recruiting advice. Stuff that can help you with exposure. What coaches are looking for right now. We are going to have, starting in a week or two, we're going to have some coaches on the stream to talk about recruiting, talk about coaching, give you guys some insight into the things they're looking for. And we've talked about this a little bit in the past streams, but really what coaches are looking, let's talk about position players. Position players, they're looking for guys that can play up the middle. And why is that? Because if you recruit a shortstop, you may not think he's going to be a shortstop for your team in college, but he can play second. He can play third. He can probably move to the outfield. He's the most athletic guy in the field, typically. The guy that has the most versatility position-wise. So they're going to recruit 4 or 5 shortstops. That doesn't mean that you're going to play shortstop. It means, if shortstop doesn't work out, they can play anywhere else. I think really the biggest change in recruiting guys and something that you need to be working on at home is this. When it comes to pitching, guys are looking for people that throw strikes. Like you saw in that game right there. Both teams. The big innings happen because you walk a couple guys and then a base hit or an error costs you 3 or 4 more runs. If you can limit the free passes, the walks and the hit by pitches, you're going to limit the amount of runs that guys score. Most of the innings in the games we saw today, you walk a few guys, and then one extra base hit or one error, and then another hit after that, and you get a 4-run inning. Whereas if there were no walks, maybe no run score, maybe 1 run scores. But that's the biggest difference in the game. So if you're a pitcher at home or your son's a pitcher, the emphasis, again, velocity is going to be the biggest gatekeeper in the school, the level of school that are interested in you. But if you can't throw strikes, no one cares. The Washington Nationals in spring training had a sign in all their bullpens that said, no one cares how hard you throw ball 4. You can throw 94 in college baseball. You can't throw strikes. You're going to get a few opportunities, and then you walk a couple guys in each outing. You're not going to be getting many more innings the rest of the season. And then maybe you're getting in the portal or something like that. So if you're a high school kid at home, the focus has to be on command. You're doing your velocity program. You're doing everything you can to improve your velocity. But you really, in every bullpen, you should be dialing in and making sure you're commanding your pitches for strikes. That is what coaches are looking for now. Across the board, when I talk to coaches, when our team talks with coaches, they're saying things like, you know, what's his typical kind of strike percentage in an outing? Does he throw his slider for a strike? Does he throw his changeup for a strike? If you're a right-handed pitcher out there and you can throw high 80s consistently, and you throw 3 pitches for strikes, you can get outs in the Power 5. Doesn't mean you're going to end up there. Again, each coaching staff, you know, they got to like you. It's subjective. But you're giving yourself the best opportunity wherever you end up. If you're throwing high 80s and you throw 3 pitches for strikes, you're going to be pitching a lot. Because the coaching staff, even if you're giving up hits, they know, well, they got to get hits to get on base. He's not walking guys. And that's going to maximize your opportunity for the next level. One of our alumni, one of our first elite clients, one of our, not first, but Michael Bush, who ended up at UNC, first-round pick to the Dodgers. He's now with the Chicago Cubs after a trade. Having a pretty good campaign so far in the major leagues this season. Smashes a home run here.
Extend the lead. It's now 6-2. That's got to feel good against his former team.
No doubt about it. Michael Bush.
I think as of last year, we had 6 or 7 guys at any given time playing in the major leagues. Pitchers, position players. A lot of guys in the minor leagues right now. And this is kind of the reason I bring this up. And just kind of showcase that real quick, is because how do you get to professional baseball if you're not getting drafted out of high school? You get to professional baseball by being a college performer. You got decent tools across the board, a few above average tools, and you're a guy that performs in college baseball. Now, how do you perform in college baseball? Now, a lot of that's up to you. But going to the right school, picking the right school where you're going to get a chance to play right away as a freshman, now more than ever with the portal and how log-jammed rosters are with guys that are, you know, juniors and seniors in college that are proven guys at the college level. It's gotten much harder to just break into a lineup as a freshman in college baseball. And so making the decision on the school, that's the most important, in my view, the most important part of the process that we help with. Obviously, we help with getting guys in communication with schools, eventually, because of their performance and being in communication with schools, receiving offers. But ultimately, that decision, when you make that commitment to a school, that's the most important part and is going to impact your career 100%. I played with so many guys who were much higher ranked than me, were getting drafted out of high school, and never played an inning of college baseball. And, I give this example a lot to parents, but if you're a shortstop or you're a third baseman and you commit to a school who on their roster has, an All-American there or a freshman who had a really good year, you're not going to play over them. You're not going to play over an All-American. You're not going to play over, a first-team all-conference guy because they're proven. And the coach knows, unless you just absolutely ball out in the fall inter squads and the preseason spring inter squads, you're not going to play over those guys. Maybe they'll fill you in another position. But making a decision, and I bring up this all the time, is, when I chose Georgia Tech, it was because there was going to be 3 spots open in the outfield. They lost 2 guys to the draft, or they were going to lose 2 guys to the draft, and the other outfielder was a senior. So I chose Georgia Tech because, all right, there's 3 spots to compete for. I was a center fielder. If I don't make it in the starting lineup, at least there were 3 spots to compete for, and I chose the school that gave me the best opportunity to do that. And it ended up being the best decision of my life. I wanted to go to Auburn. Auburn offered me, Georgia Tech offered me. Auburn was the school I really wanted to go to. But, at that time, their coaching staff, it was kind of a question mark how much longer their staff was going to be there. The coach ended up getting fired after what would have been my freshman year. Or actually, it would have been coming into campus, it would have been a new coach. So after my senior year, got fired. My senior year in high school. And, Georgia Tech, Danny Hall, who's still there, you knew he was going to be around. And my uncle, who was a scout at the time, said, listen, he's not afraid to, if you don't do what you need to do, they'll recruit a guy to replace you the next year. But I chose based on there's 3 spots to compete for. I'll work as hard as I can, perform like I think I can. I think I can work my way in there. And I end up leading off and starting in center field for the opening day of my freshman year. That is the most important thing we help with, I think. A lot of people see the kind of the communication and feedback we get from coaches as the most important, but ultimately what gets you to professional baseball is having the opportunity to play as a freshman. Nothing is going to benefit you more than getting at bats in college as fast as possible, or getting innings in college as fast as possible. And so if you go to a school that, let's say it was your dream school, but it doesn't make sense as far as roster makeup and everything like that, and you don't really play much your freshman year, you're not going to develop as well as you could if you went to a school where you played a lot your freshman year. So I think that's kind of the most important thing that we help guys with. And like I did on the last stream, show you guys here. This is our website, elitesportsadvising.com. If you want a free evaluation and meeting with us where we can talk through where we see your son, the level he's at right now as far as schools, and where we think he could possibly get to by helping with development and things like that. And, if you guys want to work with us, you have a high school kid right now who wants to play at the next level, go to contact us on the webpage and fill out this form. You can fill out this form and submit it. I'll get the email. I'll send it to whatever region of the country you're in. I'll send it to our advisors there. Or you can email me, text me. My phone number's right there. My email's right there. And we'll get you in touch with either myself or one of our advisors. And we'll have that meeting with you. And then, once you've figured out and heard exactly kind of what we can do and stuff like that, we'll move from there. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the stream. That's going to be it for today. Look out for tomorrow. I'll be posting a scheduled event later today on when our stream's going to be tomorrow. And as always, guys, no questions today in the chat, but if you guys do have questions, make sure to put those in the chat, and I'll answer everything you have, and try to give you as good an outlook as I can on kind of what you're looking for. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll have another one tomorrow. Maybe go over some other games, talk about maybe some stuff going on in the big leagues, and then yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.